when don't have it.
But when you look at, you were saying that some of these infections, some women try to do home remedy for these STDs by washing or using some of these antiseptics to take care of themselves without going to the clinic. Do you think that is really safe for these women?
I'm glad that you asked this question, because I can straight away say it's very, very unhealthy. Unhealthy because God has given to every individual that what the individual need to be healthy. You agree with me? This is, we are all created by God.
Yeah.
And in that case what you're talking about, God has given kind of healthy bacteria in our bodies, especially in the mouth, especially in the bowel, and also in the vagina.
Yes.
Those healthy bacteria, they are there to prevent the incoming bacteria, whether by eat and drinking or by sexually contact, when they come to the human body, they can fight against it. So, as you said, in this kind of, we call them like douching in the vagina. This is the worst thing ever women can do themselves. Why? Because those healthy bacteria, which they are naturally there, through these chemicals they use in. When you say Dettol is chemical, you use soap is chemical. Anything or herbs, what they do it. So what they do, they go in there and then kill all those bacteria. So that organ remains unprotected. So they can catch infection by sexually transmitted disease, by sexual contact, by using different toilets and unhygienic. So those bacteria can move into the area, genital areas, and make the tissues very vulnerable. When the tissues are very vulnerable, that's mild sexually transmitted infection, they have it, because of those good bacteria are not anymore there. What's happening, they can develop, they can increase, you know what I mean? They can make more and more damage. And then, in fact, this is when the tissues are so dying and they're vulnerable, any infection can get worse than before. For example, if the HIV transmission is the easiest for HIV virus to transfer from one to the other when the tissues are vulnerable. You know what I mean? They are damaged, and easily they can go into the cells. Actually, the healthier is the organ. Obviously, the less you will have any infection, if you think about it, you know.
And with that, we now move on to our third segment, which looks at a debate on gender issues and how stakeholders can better understand the concept of gender analysis and gender mainstreaming in national policies and programs. The ECOWAS Gender Development Center, in partnership with the Office of the Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs, Women's Bureau, Minister of Trade and Regional Integration, conducted a gender training for key partners using the gender training toolkit developed by the ECOWAS Gender Development Center. The objective of the training workshop is to build capacity of partners to better understand the concept of gender analysis and gender mainstreaming in national policies and programs, and to play a more active role in the attainment of gender equity and equality in the Gambia. During deliberations, participants were given a chance to dilate on the way forward for gender equity and equality.
I believe we are not lost, but we are a resistant generation. We are resisting. The fact that gender is an issue, and not only for women, because everybody, or most people, when you talk about gender, the first thing they think about is women. Even yesterday at my office, an education officer for that matter, came to my office and saw the PO gender written on the door, because Tila was out and I was in her office there. The first remark he made was, gender and started quoting the Quranic verse. Arijalu qawamuna ala nisai. Then I completed it for him. I said, Bima fadalallahu alayhi. You see? He quoted that verse and stopped at just the point where, according to their interpretation, they say men are above women. God raised men above women.
And what you completed was?
Upon what God has given them as, you know, in terms of trade, whatever, wealth or whatever, and entitlements.
I think maybe we will be able to, not question of eradicate it 100%, but at least an increased percentage of people to be aware of what gender is and what gender-based violence is, and also the issue of women being sexually assaulted or other issues. And then the other issue is about people who should report cases about this gender-based violence. As you have rightly stated, that keeping quiet doesn't make, it makes things worse.
All sectors should be involved in mainstreaming gender into policies and programs. I think really we're working towards the MDGs, and what we are facing now is policy evaporation. When I say policy evaporation, we mean we have very beautiful policies, but the implementation is always a problem. Why is it a problem? We assume that gender is the responsibility of the gender experts or the gender units, which is not the case. Because if we do that, gender mainstreaming will never succeed. Gender is the business of every Tom, Dick, and
That brings us to the end of this program. Do join us for another edition. Until then, do have a pleasant evening. Stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs. Thank you, viewers. Bye-bye.